Welcome back again. So today I'm in beautiful Mykonos in the Greek islands, and the topic of today's video is the law of attraction. Now, some of you might have heard of it before. I only heard about it the first time maybe 4 years ago. It's essentially a cosmic law that states that your mind creates your reality, and if you focus on something enough, simply through the power of thought and feeling, you can basically make the universe rearrange itself to bring about the things that you want. Sounds too good to be true, I know. And at first I was very skeptical as well. But the deeper I looked into this and the more I evaluated my own life and became more and more conscious of what was actually going on, what I'd been thinking about and what was happening, eventually I became very much convinced that this is a real law. And it's an amazing one at that. To get an appreciation for the law of attraction, you have to start with the power of the mind. This is something that we greatly underestimate. You know, we're all thinking all day long, all 7 billion of us, and we kind of don't really place much value on thoughts. And that's understandable because we have, 50,000 plus of them a day. But when you embrace the law of attraction, you realize that you really have to pay attention to what you're thinking. Because if you focus on negatives and you're worrying all the time, then what you're doing is you're magnetically attracting those things closer to you. And I'll explain that a little bit more in a moment. Here's something to ponder. When you look around, everything that you see, anything that's had human intervention, and chances are where you live right now, you probably live in a city or a town or somewhere. Chances are you're looking at this on a computer with internet and a kitchen and a living room and everything else. Look around and realize that every single thing that you see, these clothes, this microphone, that camera, this entire hotel, that ship, everything had to start first in the mind of a human being. So some person had to visualize it and think about every little detail, like this microphone, this telephone, all these little moving bits. Someone had to think about every single part of that, and only from that thought did any of these things turn into an actual physical manifestation or reality. The origin point for everything is the thought process inside a human's mind. It's quite mind-blowing when you really think about it. And it makes you aware just how powerful the faculty of thought actually is. Now, you would have most likely experienced some manifestations, or they're also called synchronicities, of yourself. There might have been a time when you were thinking about something, you really wanted something to happen, and then just magically things kind of arranged themselves, or a person came into your life that made it so. I personally have had so many of these examples now over the years. The first 50 times or so, you think that it's just a coincidence. But then eventually, me personally, I just became suspect of like, okay, hang on, is there something more going on here? Because some of these manifestations are literally ridiculous. I was thinking about my friend Philip the other week while I was walking through London. I was in London for one day only, flying through, and I was walking to the train station, and I was just thinking about him like a few hours ago, and then I literally bumped into him on the way to the train station. And he was also only in town for one day. We were both together in London for one day only. We both don't live there. London has 10 million people, and then we just randomly bump into each other in the middle of the street. Like, it blew me away. And this stuff now happens every few days, sometimes multiple times a day. There'll be random coincidences like this. Well, synchronicities, right? So I've been studying the law of attraction for a few years now. I initially watched The Secret, which talked about it a lot, but it was very surface. It was kind of just an introduction to the law of attraction. And then I started reading this book called The Master Key System, which is an absolute doozy. It was written by a guy in 1920, and it's written in a type of language that it's not meant for the everyday person. So it's been a real challenge, and I've been trying to figure out the details of how to leverage the law of attraction really consciously, really with real direction, not just to be creating by default and by accident, but to really utilize my ability to think and to feel to really create my reality however I wish. And it wasn't until just a few weeks ago that I came across some information that has really just made everything fall into place now. Everything makes so much more sense now. And I'd love to try to get into this now so I can pass this on, so maybe that you can also utilize this information to, you know, bring about whatever it is that you want in your life with more accuracy, so that you don't have to wait years and years and years to have what you want, but you can leverage the power of the universe to make it happen faster. So the core principle of all of this is based around the universe being a vibrational universe. And I mean, this is something that has been validated by science. You know, when people zoom in far enough into matter, you realize that most of it is actually empty space and everything is particles vibrating super fast. I mean, I'm not a physicist, so I don't understand this stuff that well, but I guess everything is apparently in flux. Everything is constantly moving. Some of the information I found on the law of attraction speaks about you having to feel whatever it is that you want to create. So you start visualizing a place, a person, an event, a meeting, a friend, whatever it is that you're trying to bring into your life. And you can't just visualize it, you can't just use your mind, you also have to engage your feeling ability. I once heard in a documentary that the signal that the heart sends out, in terms of with every heartbeat, the pulse that the heart sends out, is something like 500 times stronger than any signal that the brain ever sends out. So it would make sense that you would have to engage this, your heart, as well as your brain, in order to really send out a strong vibration, a strong signal that then ends up being mirrored back by the universe. Now, there is also an ancient principle, which is part of the Hermetic principles passed down by the Greek god Hermes. He passed down these 7 principles, which were basically the rules of the universe in some sense. And one of the laws, which I believe is the second law, is correspondence. The second Hermetic principle, correspondence, relates to as above, so below, as within, so without. So, in other words, your inner world creates your outer world. If you want something to happen here in the physical reality, you need to first own it on the inside, is what this principle says. Now, I've been trying to figure out what exactly that means for quite a while, and it wasn't until the other week that it all snapped into place, and it now is just so clear. The piece of information that snapped everything into place is Abraham Hicks talk. You can look it up on YouTube, just type in Abraham Hicks. Basically all of the stuff speaks about this, and she explains that the way to leverage the law of attraction effectively is you need to trick yourself into feeling like whatever it is that you want to happen has already happened. When you do this and you maintain that feeling of whatever it might be, you know, let's say you want a new best friend. What is it like? What is the feeling right now of having that best friend with whatever characteristics you want this person to have? Imagine they're already here and you feel content and happy, and you know, you're enjoying yourself because this person is there. So you need to find a way to trick yourself into feeling that now. And apparently, if you maintain that feeling for 17 seconds or more, you start to influence the vibration that you send out. So the key is that anything that you want to create in this life has a vibration to it, and you have to be a vibrational match to that reality in order for it to come into your life. You can't feel poor all the time and expect money to just appear into your life. You're only going to recreate a sense of feeling poor and conditions of being poor if you feel like that all the time. If you think that people aren't worthy of your trust, and you think that people are bad and they fuck each other over and whatever else, then guess what? The universe is going to send you lots and lots of examples to reinforce your view of this world. Whereas if you expect people to be open-hearted and kind, then the universe will start sending you that. And that's, for instance, for me, I expect that the majority of the planet is made up of really, really good people. And you know what? I have had just a string of amazing people that I've been meeting every few days for months now. It's rather amazing. But anyway, so the key point is, it's not about, oh, it's going to be so amazing when this happens. Because when you do that, your vibration is, it's not here yet. The vibration you need to be sending out is, okay, I want this thing to happen. Wow, this is what it feels like. It's already here. And I know this sounds like you're deluding yourself. And sure, you are for a little while there. But you know what the amazing thing is? If you do it right, you do start to feel like it's already happened. So you're already getting the reward now. Most of us think that when that thing comes into my life, when I have money, then I'll feel good. And apparently the law of the universe, the law of attraction, it doesn't operate like that. It's not about something appears and then you get the feeling after. It's you got to get the feeling first, and then those conditions will appear thereafter. It starts with the mind. Thoughts matter. Thoughts turn into matter. So yeah, anyway, that was the big brain fart that I had about the law of attraction just recently. If you are interested in this stuff and you want to go into it deeper, and I highly recommend that you do, because we are speaking about your entire life and your reality here, and how to have a little bit of power over it, you know, not just be walking around and thinking life happens to you, but instead perceiving it as life happens for you. And you are a co-creator of this reality, which is an amazing way to view life. And only good things will come from that. So if you're interested in this, then I highly recommend looking up Abraham Hicks, maybe watch The Secret, maybe get yourself the Master Key System, and most of all, learn meditation, because meditation is the management of your thoughts. It's basically stops overthinking so that you can actually get an overview of what's going through your mind. And you also learn that you aren't actually your thoughts. You learn to disidentify with the voices in your head so that you can then choose what thoughts to pursue, which to let go, and which thoughts to create, you know, to actually be a creator, not just a passenger of all the noise in your head. That is what meditation is. It's amazing, and it's a complete life changer. So if you're interested in learning that, then there's a link down in my bio. I created a 7-day course where I basically just distilled everything that I've learned. You know, there are meditation courses out there which take, you know, a long time to learn, and there's a lot of decoration in there, and they'll charge you $1,000 to learn it, which I think is a little bit ridiculous in my eyes. So I created a course that's super minimal, super practical, very modern, and it's also very affordable. And once you learn that, you will be in more control of your inner world, which creates your outer world. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.